What's up, everybody? It's Roman for Empire Sports Talk. I know it's been a while, but I want to talk about Lee Corso. So let's get to it. It is Tuesday afternoon as we record this, and Saturday morning will be Lee Corso's final college game day of his illustrious career. For the last 30 years, Lee Corso has been synonymous with College Gameday, synonymous with college football, and as many people have pointed out in the last year or so, the face of college football. And I was reminded of that this morning as I was on the ESPN app, and I was watching, it aired last Sunday night, but I was watching the Not So Fast, My Friend documentary on Lee Corso's career. And it just reminded me of what it looks like to love something so singularly and be so full of joy for one thing. The way that Lee Corso loved college football. And he continues to love college football now into his 90s. But as his body and his mind start to not allow him to be on camera anymore, this touching tribute was a reminder to me of where all of this started. And I know that I am on a YouTube channel that has just 135 subscribers, and I know that this video isn't about me, but when I was a young kid, there were certain people that inspired me. And I've said goodbye to the first two of those people in my lifetime already. First, Stuart Scott, then Vin Scully, where, and I'll let you in on it, because I sit in front of a camera so you can't tell, I was born with a mild disability that prevented me from playing sports. And so when I learned that being on camera and talking about sports was a way to stay in them, the most important people that I could see were Vin Scully, Stuart Scott, and Lee Corso. And as time marches on, Lee Corso is the last one of those three left that were such an inspiration to me. And to watch this documentary, this special put on by ESPN, it was just a reminder. As I've done this podcast, this YouTube channel, on and off for the last 10 years. And I've put it down several times because we've gotten to a point in culture where we can't just say, oh, I respectively disagree with your opinion on so-and-so sports topic, but that's okay because we're different people. And that doesn't just go to sports. It's everything now. And so because of that, I've put this channel down, this podcast down a few times because it became not about the sports, not about the thing that I loved for so long. And so this documentary reminded me what it looks like to love something that much. The way that Stuart Scott loved sports, the way that Vin Scully loved baseball, the way that Lee Corso loves college football. And this documentary made me emotional several times, especially towards the end when Lee is sitting in this theater and watching projector for thank yous and tributes to a lot of his friends and colleagues and coaches and TV personalities to say thank you for what you've given us. Thank you for showing us joy, that it can be fun. And just the look on Lee's face, and if I get emotional thinking about it, I apologize. Just the look on Lee Corso's face at 90 years old as he's wrapping up an illustrious career, watching the highlights, watching college football, watching his friends talk about him. It was like he was a kid again. And that is the way that he has always handled college game day and college football, with the joy and innocence of a child. And that's what I feel like I needed to be reminded of. I feel like that's what we all needed to be reminded of, because at some point in all of our lives, we entered into the sports landscape or whatever it is that we love with the wide-eyed innocence of a child. And all that mattered was that one thing. We couldn't get enough. We were so saturated with it. And then at some point, the world stepped in. Anger, hate, sadness, the things of the world that hold us back, that grow us up, stepped in. But when I think about Lee Corso in college football, that is one thing, that is one area of his life that he never let get polluted by the negative things of this world. Anyone that played for him, worked alongside him, said that he cared for people. He cared for his athletes as people more than he did as football players. And I'm reminded of when I was 12 years old, watching College Gameday and seeing Lee Corso put on the headgear with so much joy and so much fun, thinking that's the job that I want. That is what I want to do. I want to be the one that puts on the headgear like Lee Corso. And I am so moved that after Saturday, no one will ever put on the headgear as part of College Gameday again. And as somebody that used to want that job, no one else should have it. That was Lee Corso's idea. He specifically asked for permission. As the documentary said, he asked Kirk Herbstreit's wife, who had been a cheerleader at Ohio State, to ask if he could do it, if he could wear the Brutus head. And originally they said no. And then he said, ask him again. And they got approval the Friday before that game day show where he first put on the Brutus head for Ohio State. But all that to say, it just reminded me of why I started this channel, this podcast in the first place, why I studied broadcast journalism, why I looked up to people like Lee Corso, Vince Scully, and Stuart Scott. Because they did their jobs, but they did it in a way where you were in no way confused about what they loved, what they were so enthralled with. And I love sports, and I love coming on here and talking about any and every sport. I love college football, NFL football, basketball, all of it. But my first love, and it's not hyperbole to say this, I'm really certain that my first love in life was baseball. And if I could sit up here every single day and do 1, 2, even 3 hours on Major League Baseball, I absolutely would. And a lot of people say, oh, I would do so-and-so for free. And that's what I've done for 10 years. But life moves on and time gets shorter. And the number of hours in the day stay the same. And you got to pay bills. But if I could get paid to sit here for 3 hours every single day and talk about baseball, I would. And it reminded me that I feel about baseball. I feel about the sport of baseball the way that Lee Corso always has about college football, the way Dick Vitale always has about college basketball. And so I just want to come on here, and even though it's been a minute since my last video, I want to thank Lee Corso for everything he did for a young kid with a mild disability that couldn't get out on the field with his friends and was just looking for some way to feel connected to the sports he loves. I want to thank him for making it about entertainment and fun and a love for college football. I want to thank him for all those Saturdays that I sat in my room alone playing the college football video game on one TV and watching him make picks on college football on another TV. And the world of college football is going to miss him every Saturday from now until probably forever. Lee Corso is one of a kind. He is college football. He is the headgear master. And there will never be another Lee Corso. I'll see you on the next one.